Hi everyone, this is Pablo again. We're going on with video 5 in this video series. If you haven't seen the previous 4, please go back and watch them, as each video builds on the previous ones. There's a kind of a logical flow to them all. So this video is titled Why You Gain Weight by Eating Carbs and Sugar and How Glucose Becomes Fat. So let's jump right into it. Glucose is the fuel for the body. So all our food that we eat gets converted to glucose. And glucose can be made from two food sources, such as sugar, when we eat sugar in our foods, and carbohydrates, which comes from flour, breads, pasta, etc. All those things that you've probably already heard of. Both are easily converted to glucose in our digestive system, which is why it's bad to eat these things, because these sugar and carbs can be very easily converted to glucose. Now, glucose travels throughout our body through our circulatory system, our blood. And it goes to the muscles, the brain, and the organs. Muscles can store a small amount of it, about 500 grams of glucose, for their future use. The brain uses the highest percentage of glucose, 20% or higher of the glucose or food, the glucose that you get into your body gets used by the brain. All of our organs use glucose to function. And any excess glucose that is left after all the body is used what it needs to, above 500 grams that the muscle can store and 100 grams that the liver can store, gets converted and stored in fat cells. So how our bodies work: we eat food. Here's all the kinds of different foods: good foods, fast foods. We eat everything. Our digestive system converts the food we eat to a fuel called glucose. So this is our fuel, which is delivered in our blood by our circulatory system to all parts of our bodies to create energy in order to function. This includes muscles, which burn glucose, so this gives us the energy to exercise. It also includes the brain, which burns glucose, and in fact it burns more than any other organ. Our internal organs also burn glucose, so all of our internal organs also need it. Heart, the digestive system, lungs, you name it, they all need glucose. Additionally, muscles store extra glucose for future short-term needs, which is about 500 milligrams. So the muscles can store that glucose internally in the actual muscle. And the liver also stores extra glucose for future use, only about 100 milligrams. So excess glucose in the bloodstream is bad for our health. That's one of the key things you need to realize, that our blood or our system can detect the amount of glucose that is running through our blood, and it knows when it's too much. And when it goes above a certain point, it detects that, and it immediately basically releases insulin, so after storing sufficient glucose for future use, there's still an excess. The pancreas releases insulin, which signals the body to store excess glucose in fat cells for future use. So it takes a fat cell and it stores the excess glucose in the fat cells, and they literally become bigger. So they grow. It doesn't create new fat cells. It simply takes the fat cells that you already have in your body, and they grow tremendously, which makes us gain weight. This is what we see as a result of those fat cells growing. We see it all over our body because we have fat cells everywhere. So you might ask yourself, why do we eat so many carbs? Or maybe you're not convinced you're eating too many carbs. So in video 6, we're going to take a look at where we're getting our carbs. And basically, we're going to break down why we have been taught to eat the worst possible way we can eat. So that we'll see that in video 6. So if you like this video series, you want to continue watching, subscribe and click the little bell icon so you'll be notified when there's new videos available. And I'll see you in video 6.